Yeah.
Good evening. It is Thursday, June 26, 2025 at 6 p.m. We are at the District Service Center in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the land of the Mdewakanton Dakota people. Mdewakanton means dwellers of the Spirit Lake. The first item on our agenda is roll call. Abby?
Louise Hines.
Here.
Ryan Clark.
Here.
Sharon Van Leer.
Here.
Eric Tesmer.
Here.
Melinda Doles.
Here.
Simi Patnaik.
Here.
Katie Schwartz.
Here. 2.0, Pledge of Allegiance, please stand.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0 is approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved by Sharon, seconded by Simi. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.0 is comments to the board. We do not have any this evening. 5.0 is our consent items. All consent items are considered routine and non-controversial by the school board and will be approved by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Prior to this meeting, board members had the opportunity to review each item and could have requested an item be moved to an action item for individual consideration. That did not happen this evening, so can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sharon, seconded by Melinda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 6.0 would be information items, but we do not have any this evening. 7.0 is action items, and we do have 4. 7.1 is proposed policy changes, and that will be presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent.
Good evening and thank you. This evening I am bringing forward for final approval 5 district policies. Policy 611, homeschooling, where there were no proposed changes. Policy 612.1, development of parental involvement policies related to our Title I programs, no proposed changes there. 615, testing accommodations, modifications, exemptions for IEPs and students on Section 504 plans. There was an update to names and programs. 620 was our credit for learning, where we've talked about that change in statute. And 624, online learning options, there were no proposed changes. This evening, I am asking for approval of those 5 policies.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sharon, seconded by Simi. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7.2 is Minnesota State High School League membership, and that will be presented by Christine Schaefer, Assistant Superintendent.
Good evening, School Board Chair Schwartz, School Board Member Superintendent Nielsen. I'm here this evening to request approval for the renewal of the South Washington County Schools membership in the Minnesota State High School League for the 25-26 school year. South Washington County Schools is currently a member of the High School League, and the league requires school boards each year to authorize continued membership for the upcoming year. In your board packet, you'll find several documents for your review. These materials replace that annual video that you used to watch in previous years, so now all the materials are in your packet. The first document is the 25-26 school year update from the State High School League Executive Director Eric Mertens. The second outlines the mission and purpose of the State High School League. And the final 3 documents are the official membership resolution forms for all 3 of our high schools. So just to summarize for you, the resolutions affirm that the school board delegates the control, supervision, and regulation of league-sponsored athletic and fine arts activities to the State High School League, and that we will adopt the league's constitution, bylaws, and rules and regulations, assigning responsibility for supervision to our school representatives. So that is, in a nutshell, what the resolutions say. So at this time, I'd like to request school board approval for the South Washington County Schools continued membership in the Minnesota State High School League for the 25-26 school year.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Louise. Any comments? Okay, this is a resolution, so we will need a roll call vote. Abby?
Louise Hines.
Yes.
Ryan Clark.
Yes.
Sharon Van Leer.
Yes.
Eric Tesmer.
Yep.
Melinda Doles.
Yes.
Simi Patnaik.
Yes.
Katie Schwartz.
Yes. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
7.3 is our 2025-26 budget, and that will be presented by Chris Blackburn, Director of Business Services.
I know, I felt like we were a little straight on this way as well, so. Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the board, Superintendent Nielsen. Tonight, Minnesota school districts are required to have a revenue and expenditure budget approved by June 30th of the preceding year. The finance department, so my team of Nikki Kazel, Amber Schauer, Mary Beth Collins, Patty Marks, Diana Moreno, and Amy Tarman, have prepared the 25-26 budget for school board approval. The 25-26 general fund and community education fund budgets were presented to the school board on June 12th, 2025. The school nutrition fund budget was presented to the school board on May 8th, 2025. I would note that there was no changes to those budgets since those presentations. We did notice that the special session wrapped up late in June, and so that any impacts as we looked at the, I would say, available information now, we will wait and present that with a revised budget as well. So any legislative impacts will be incorporated into the revised budget when we revise in likely March of 26. So at this point, administration recommends approval of the 25-26 preliminary budget as presented.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sharon, seconded by Simi. Any questions or comments?
Hey, Chris, I just had two questions. So the first question was, and both of these, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask during the workshop. The first question was around, you had mentioned during the workshop that our benefits costs have increased quite a bit. And one of the questions I had was, as a district, we have chosen not to go the self-insurance route for health insurance. Can you talk about if you've investigated that and what your conclusion is?
Absolutely. So each year, when we do the HITA bid, which is required every 2 years, we do also at that point take a look at whether self-insurance would make sense financially for us as well. And what we've historically found in the past number of years, our utilization rate would exceed, so what we would have to charge for premiums, it just doesn't make sense for us to move to that self-insured model yet with the current utilization. So certainly we will continue to pursue that and look at that each time, because at some point it may make financial sense, just currently it does not.
Okay. My second question, so I'm noticing in here, like our building construction fund is quite large, right? And it's a pretty big chunk of our budget for next year. And if there's some implications from tariffs or from labor costs or whatever, with the $400 million that we've asked the voters for, that the voters have approved, what are the implications if costs turn out to be more expensive than what they had been estimated back before we had the election?
Right. So, and we certainly know that that does impact costs, right? But that authority, we can only go up to that bonded authority. So the
Okay.
approval, when the board authorized that and the voters, generously approved that, that is the max we can go out to seek bonded money for. And so, let's say tariffs would become very significant, it would just reduce. We would have to look at, do we need to reduce scope on some projects?
Okay.
We would also look, where there's some interest earnings and things that could offset some of that. So
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank
Thank
you. Okay, on to 7.4, and that is to certify the updated census, and that will be presented by Jake Winchell, Director of Community Education.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the board, Superintendent Nielsen. Tonight I'm here to seek approval of a resolution to recertify our census count. According to Minnesota statutes, the population of a school district must be certified by the Department of Education from the most recent federal census. In any year in which no federal census is taken, a population estimate may be made and submitted to the state demographer for approval. The school board can pass a resolution by June 30th of 2025 of the updated population of the district as determined by the state demographer. According to the estimates of the state demographer, the district population increased from 113,887 in 2022 to 118,152 in 2024. This population increase will impact the revenue of the community education programs received based on the current funding calculation, which uses the district population to determine total funding. So at this time, we'd like to request approval of this resolution for the 25-26 fiscal year.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Melinda, seconded by Simi. Any comments? Okay, this is a resolution, so Abby, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Ryan Clark,
Yes.
Sharon Van Leer,
Yes.
Eric Tesmer,
Yes.
Melinda Doles.
Yes.
Simi Patniak,
Yes.
Louise Hines.
Yes.
Katie Schwartz.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. And then we are on to 8.0, and that is our superintendent report.
I feel like I really should have a long report because I'd hate for this to break any records at, just a little over 10 minutes. But I don't have a lot to share because it is that time of year. And when I say that time of year, it just means that it's a different pace, but there's a lot of work going into right now for the start of the school year and getting everything ready. But just to note, construction, our board gets updates every week, and our system leaders get updates. But if you were to drive by Crestview and Park High School, you would see a mud mess right now with all of the rain. But nonetheless, the hope is that the road into Crestview and the parking lot for Crestview is all set up so that eventually that road will go back behind with cars to drop students off. And of course, that's not going to be ready by fall for Park because they'll be doing that addition on the back side of the building where the cafeteria will go. Eastridge, if you were to go to Eastridge now, you're going to see new entries into that athletic area. So the athletic doors, which we know athletic activity doors are closed, and they have drilled through the brick to have doors added there. Our Oatman Middle School cafeteria has temporary walls and will be expanded going out. And the addition there is well underway. Part of the storm shelter is already in place there. And then Woodbury Middle School, the picture for Woodbury Middle School this week had a box with some wires in it. So that was fiber, which sometimes we forget along this construction path that all of that is happening simultaneously, along with the sidewalk went in from Upper Afton through kind of the playground by Woodbury Elementary School. So the sidewalk is already in. I'm still trying to decide if there's going to be a pond or something there on one of the sides where the buses go in, but more to come. Maybe it was just a pond because of all the rain, but it was certainly a very deep ravine. Next, I just wanted to highlight our Cottage Grove Chamber South Washington County Schools golf team. Sitting in the back, Abby Baker was one of our representatives golfing in the Chamber Golf. They gave trophies out for 25th place, which was last place. They gave trophies out for 10th place and first place, and our South Washington County Schools team took 10th. So in Abby's office, I believe, or Mike Mulaney's office is our trophy. I think just a reminder that anybody from executive cabinet or in the district who golfs in the tournament obviously takes a vacation day, but we also had representation from our Principals Association and our executive cabinet that hosted a hole, and we were out there just connecting and networking with community partners from Marathon to 3M to just a whole variety, Culver's. I'm trying to think about all the other good ones out there. But just really having good conversations about the school district. And then finally, for the board to know, and we have some staff out there, that this week we did a full training on our new platform for data, slicing and dicing and looking at data across the district, across schools. And that program you will hear, if you haven't heard this, haven't heard what it is called EduClimber. But it's going to be our one-stop shop for documenting student intervention as well as taking a look at our data. So many of us were in training this week doing that. And so with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. 9.0 is future meeting dates. We do only have one meeting in July, so that is July 17th, 2025, and that is our school board business meeting here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. And then August 7th, 2025 will be our school board workshop meeting, also here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. And with that, 10.0, and we are adjourned.